Hi there, welcome to the cloud. Let's play some Disney Sorcerer's Arena. I will see you over there. Welcome back, yes, welcome back my friends. This is part 3 of Spells Week this just turned into, and if you've made it this far, I appreciate you sticking with me. I know a lot of these videos seem like a bit of a long haul, and to be honest, that's kind of how they come out. It's almost like these are little mini streams, except I'm not streaming yet, so they come to you in the form of these long videos. But if you're still here, then you have made it to the finale, where we are taking a look over here at the S tier. Today we are going to be going in depth, so this will be a longer video, and if that's not for you, then feel free. I'm going to be looking at mainly at these 4 in the S tier, so feel free to skip ahead to the one that is most relevant to you. If not, I hope you stick around for the whole video and find out what we've got going on here. So let's jump straight into it, apart from a quick update here in the form of tier B. It's not that significant. Obviously, since I put this video together and this chart, we've had the Onward event, and Dad Moves came out as a new spell, so it's been ranked at the moment in the B tier. I don't have enough information yet as to what speed it's at, but that's where Dad Moves sits, if anyone was wondering. So let's get straight back into the S tier, which is what we are all here for today, and let's go in and start with Bucket of Soldiers here. So Bucket of Soldiers, as I mentioned yesterday, is basically for you to do a heck of a lot of damage, and it really adds up over time when you consider that they basically go every time that one of your characters uses a basic attack, not even just the basic attack, and you're going to get these guys going. And I've lost so many battles to this ridiculous little green soldier man here and this Bucket of Soldiers. I have managed to completely clear a team out, and they're down and dead, and all that is left is this Bucket of Soldiers, and they will take anything out to up to 3 of my characters down who are a little close to dying themselves. This bucket will take them out all by itself, because it will still go even without an assist. It has its own move. It acts as a character in itself. So that's what makes this bucket particularly deadly, and that's just on the basic level. So if you look over here, when you summon the bucket, even at the base level, you're going to be dealing up to 50 damage plus 20 per player level. So that's per player level. So if you're where I'm at around level 50, you know, that's times 20. That is a lot of damage. So, and then you got the 50 on top of that, and you also in terms of its strength, it's a pretty strong little bucket too, because it has 150 health plus 100 per player level again, and if you are anything up in the 50s, that's 5,000 health. When you consider Shan Yu and Big Bad Wolf will crit for anything between 2 and 3,000 K, then you know this bucket's going to be able to take a good pounding before it goes down. And by that time, because it's a reasonably fast charging spell, it's one of the medium charging spells, it's going to come back around again, and you're going to be dealing with this all over again, which is what makes this thing so deadly and so annoying. So that's a bit more of a breakdown, and as you can see on level 2, it'll add another first attack on its turn start, and then another 20% damage dealt for level 3, and then another attack on top of that for level 4. In terms of where you can find Bucket of Soldiers, it's one of those ones that is event only, because if you see over here and we click this find, it's going to let you know that it's a rare item, and this is only found in limited time events. That's been the Toy Story events, and it's typically been in the higher tiers on like phase 3, like the equivalent of the final showdown in the Scar event, or Jafar in the Cave of Wonders. So that it's not that easy to obtain, which kind of gives you an indication of why these spells are so good, is because they are hard to obtain in the game. So moving on from Bucket of Soldiers, what else do we have here on the list? The next one up we're going to have a quick look at is the Golden Hammer. Now this is obviously from Fix It Felix in Wreck-It Ralph. It's his magical hammer, and the main thing that puts these spells into the S tier is their ability to manipulate turn meter and speed. Anytime you do that, as we discussed yesterday, you control the battle along with crowd control, and if you can go first, then you have your opportunity to control the match. So if we head on over here to Golden Hammer, so not only does it control speed, it is also a revival, a res kind of spell. The only other two characters that can do that in the game are Genie on the hero side and Jafar for the villains. But in terms of a spell, this is the only spell that can actually revive a dead teammate from the dead and put them back into the match. And it'll revive them with 15% health of their maximum health here. So if they don't happen to be, if you don't happen to have a teammate that has been killed during the match, what it will do as well, instead of reviving one, it'll put undefeatable on them, which means you can't knock them down. And for me, in my experience when I've been doing this, the level I'm playing at, I typically run into Zerg teams with high level Zergs on them, and I want to take Zerg down. What usually happens is I'll get far enough to the point where I just need one more hit to take out Zerg, and this hammer will come into play and just put undefeatable on him. Or if it's not Zerg, it'll be one of the other characters that you want to target down earlier, like Big Bad Wolf or Hades, and this will save him. And if it doesn't save him and you manage to take him down, this will revive them. So it's a really good spell just for that alone. But the fact that it also, this is where high level comes in here, at end game, when you have enough to level this up to level 3, it'll also manipulate your speed meter, and that's a 25% increase in the character's speed meter that you applied all these bonus effects to, all these buffs. They will also gain 25% speed meter as well. So, and then obviously when you get up to level 4, I haven't seen anyone with a level 4 yet, but once you get there, you're going to get an extra 5% maximum health restored to that character when they're revived. So that's a total of 20, which obviously is going to be beneficial within the match. So that's again why Golden Hammer reaches into the S tier. And again, it's another one of those event exclusives. There's only one, actually it's not just an event exclusive, but it is the only one that is actually available, and it's not really free to play. It is in packs and it is in the VIP exchange. So either way, you have a paywall to get through to being able to grind this one out, unless the event comes around when you can pick this up. And it says it's sometimes found in the Tower Exchange, but I have not seen it there. I mean, if you do see it and you have the currency, buy it along with any of the other spells in this S category. Immediately buy whatever tokens you can out of the Tower Exchange store if you see them there, because they are super rare and either only come around in events, or in the case of this Golden Hammer, the only reason this one is slightly grindable but not free to play is that it is in these packs, and these packs seem to be permanent. They are buried below all these event packs here. But if you go down, this premium spell pack has been in the store probably since global launch, and it hasn't gone away, and it is 500 gems. But what you will see if we go into what you can actually get out of this, you'll be getting some of these lower level spells that we've already looked at, and not all of them are great. Duke Kaboom is probably one of the better ones you can get out of the pack, and Thunder Mountain Boom, the dynamite there, that is also good. But what you will see right at the bottom, which they've kind of very sneakily tucked away here, is the Golden Hammer. The Golden Hammer is available through this pack, making it the only S tier spell that is within reason available in the game, even though it costs gems. There are ways, as we know, to get those free gems, but otherwise the only S tier spell that you can gain tokens for outside of special events, and them very rarely popping up in the exchanges. And what also is nice about this particular pack, unlike some other marquee things like when we saw with Zerg for the event packs, it was 0.0 something ridiculous of a % chance. You have an equal chance in this pack to get any one of these spells. So although it is a premium spell within the game economy, at least in terms of this pack, you have an equal chance to pull Golden Hammer from this pack, and that is pretty much where you get all your Golden Hammer goodness. So if we head on back to the tier list, I think that's Golden Hammer covered. Then the next spell up, and probably the most common one that I've seen towards my upper end of tournament, is this Iago spell here, known as Foul Play. So if we head on over to Foul Play and grab a look at that, here he is flying in there. So Foul Play is has a bunch of different reasons why it is useful. In my opinion, is probably the most utility spell out of this S tier level, because it does so many things on different levels. But the main thing it does is it does a lot of damage, and as you can see just by unlocking the spell in its first tier, you've got here deal up to 50 plus 38. That's 38 per player level, and as we discussed in terms of multipliers of your player level, 38 high. That's a high amount of damage, and it's also a fast charging spell, which means it's going to come around quicker, and you're going to do a lot more damage with Iago flying through your match there and just taking out an entire row. He will attack an entire row for you. So in terms of spells, I think the highest damage where it is a multiplier per player level, the highest one is probably the Thunder Mountain Dynamite, which is up around 42, I believe. 38 is probably the next highest. So it does an immense amount of damage. I've just been getting killed by him in my tournament. I can't climb to certain levels within the top 10 because they have this at level 2. And at level 2, what he also does is the second benefit that Foul Play will give you is Foul Play will act as a dispel. And it does that by basically taking away and purging the effects. But not only does it just purge that effect from the opposing team member, it puts that effect onto one of your team members. So in effect, it is stealing a buff. So it acts both as a dispel or a purge, and also steals the buff and gives it to one of your teams. Every time I've used that spell since I started using that spell, usually he steals offense up and ends up putting it on my Shan Yu almost every time. So I don't know if that's by design or just luck, but that seems to be how it works for me. So that's a great benefit to this spell. And on offense, it's typically better than defense, but like I said, in defense, it's been killing me. So either way, one of the top 2 spells in the game, if not the top, depending on your perspective. We're going to have a look at the top one here. I'm not going to argue with the Disney Titans. That's why we're going to leave it for last. I haven't got there. I haven't seen a lot of them, but let's keep focusing here on Foul Play for the moment. So 30 chance to increase duration of that copied helpful effect as well on the next level. And then on the 4th level, you're going to apply that buff to 2 of your team members now. So all around a fantastic spell that does a huge amount of damage in any match and is fast charging, so we'll just keep coming around and working for you. And that, my friends, is Foul Play, which leaves us with our final spell being Blue Fairy Magic, which is this wand looking card over here, and is regarded by all the endgame players, especially the Disney Titans, which is where most of this information comes from, as being the best spell in the game. And the reason for this seems to be purely on its speed. It's a fast charging spell, and the fact that it is a speed and turn manipulating spell at its core. So let's have a quick hop on over and grab that spell up on screen for you guys. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here it is, and when you unlock this spell, it is also a cleanse. So very similar to Foul Play, it cleanses all harmful effects from all teammates and applies the opposing helpful effect for turn 1. So it's like the next level up in on Foul Play is instead of taking them away from the other team and stealing them over, it'll completely dispel the harmful effects that are on your team and then reverse them and turn them into the equivalent helpful effect or buff. And then it'll apply the effect for a whole turn, and at level 2 the duration for that helpful effect goes up by 1 turn as well. This is where this becomes high level, which is why I'm kind of favoring the Foul Play Iago spell, because that one's kind of accessible. I forgot to go over where you can get him. Basically the only place to really get Foul Play is from the Cave of Wonders event, which is why it's been more accessible, which is why more of you probably have actually had a chance to access Iago. And when that came around, the packs came up were pretty reasonable. I think it was 800 for a chance of getting up to 30 tokens for Foul Play, but at minimum you were getting 10, so that's a pretty good deal if you got the gems there. So sorry for hopping around there, but back to this. This is what I was saying. High level, the only place you can get blue fairy magic is in the final Tower of Endurance, tower number 5, as you can see here. And that's not an easy thing to do. I'm struggling getting through to Tower 3. I've been told Tower 4 is probably a bit easier, but obviously Tower 5, you might be able to get a certain way up it, but at higher levels, you're facing level 55 to 60 enemies, and unless you have a stupidly good roster, it's going to be a while before you finish that to even unlock this spell. And then once again, it says sometimes found in Tower Exchange, but honestly, I have not seen it one time yet, and it is not in those random pull packs either. Only the lower level spells are in there. So it is a premium item that you can only get by completing the final tower, and then by random chance if they turn up in the store. I don't believe this has ever been an event either. So how you're going to get this particular spell all the way up to level 3 to really benefit from its speed meter manipulation, I'm not sure, but for end game, I guess this is what you want to be targeting. You obviously want to be working on your tower anyway, but this is why we say this whole list has been from the perspective of end game higher level players. So just to give you a breakdown from the official guide by Jolly, we're going to go and the real IRL, the Disney Titans. This is by far the best spell in the game at the moment due to its ability to affect your character's speed meters. Level 3 will give your character 30% speed meter increase for each cleansed harmful effect. So that's not just 30%, that is a 30% per cleansed harmful effects that we were talking about. So if you manage to clear 3, which is very easy to get 3 harmful effects on one character, let alone your entire team, you're basically just going to go straight away. And that'll give you a massive advantage in terms of being able to control the battle. And I'm sure from my little taste of it, and definitely at the end game where these guys are playing at, that's going to be incredibly useful. But the only downside, in my personal opinion right now, is that this is a very inaccessible but ultimately desirable spell to chase after. So there we are. This is the kind of small little library of spells that I have unlocked so far. Like I said, I'm really enjoying using my Foul Play with Iago here. I always enjoy my Duke Kaboom, as you know if you're a regular viewer, and my Buzzard up here. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of B tier special mention, which was the Dynamite from Thunder Mountain. I'm really looking forward to leveling that up to level 2, because it not only does probably the most damage for an AoE spell in the game. What I failed to mention yesterday when we were having a quick look was the second level of this spell stuns as well, and if you can imagine, it stuns the entire team, because you put this team as an this spell on as an AoE. It puts Dynamite on the whole team. So I guess overall, it's a B tier honorary mention, and is a honorary mention for me because that is what I use in my tournament most of the time now, is foul play and this Thunder Mountain Dynamite. So there you are, a more in-depth look. I know this is one of my longer sort of mini stream videos, and hopefully you stuck with me till the end on this one and you got some useful information. If you want even more detailed information, then check out the links below, because I will link the charts, these free charts that are available to all you guys, and you can go and find the Disney Titans on the community Discord as well as the official Discord, and get really in depth, ask some questions there, or read the guide to really break down in even further fine detail more about these spells. But I'm pretty sure we covered most of everything you're going to need to know for now. So there we have it. Probably your most accessible spell is going to be Foul Play with Iago here, and then after that, if you are going to splash out on the packs, then go after Golden Hammer. But again, that's not a guaranteed drop, but it is a fair percentage gamble on that. And then Bucket of Soldiers when the Toy Story events come around. Be sure that you're leveling up your Buzz, your Woody, your Jessie, and your Zurg, so that you can get as many of those as you can, because oh boy are they annoying and do a buttload of damage there. And super long end game, as we round towards the end of this video, is your Blue Fairy Magic. If you can finish that tower, congratulations. That's long off for a lot of you beginning players, and for me. But hopefully one day we'll get there and we'll make a video about that. But there you go, S tier spells, our in-depth look and a wrap up to our spells week. I guess it was a 3-part video series on spells, and hopefully that is all the information you will need. And if you're not sick of me and listening about spells, then please feel free to ask any questions down in the comments below, or find me in the official Discord. But I will wrap it up there for now. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out this long stretch with me, and I will see you next time your head is in the clouds.